G'day guys, Mr. Oz Adventure here, and I am on a group ride. We are on the western side of Mount Glorious. This is one of the best motorcycling roads out of Brisbane. It leads straight from the western suburbs. From the Gap, you're only 10 minutes from the CBD pretty much, depending on the traffic, and you start hitting the hills. We're heading in the opposite direction from Wivenhoe Dam, Lake Wivenhoe. We're heading east, back over the hill, back over Mount Glorious, and then back over Mount Nebo into Brisbane. When they named this mountain Mount Glorious, I'm pretty sure they had motorcyclists in mind, because the road is absolutely glorious. It's a two-wheeled delight. It's got some really tight stuff, it's got some open, fast-flowing stuff, but it also has a heavy police presence, so you've got to really be careful. People do crash on this road, and people do lose their licences on this road. Not so much down this side, but mainly over towards Mount Nebo. It's a bit more heavily built up over there as you get closer to Brisbane, which is understandable. So it starts off on the western side on the Somerset Wivenhoe Road. It's a bit of a T-intersection there. You turn off and you start going through gently rolling little hills, following the creek out. Some of it's flat, just winding along the river, but then all of a sudden you get to the edge of the mountain and then you go up through all these tight switchbacks, 20km/h corners. Lots of fun. I don't like coming down them so much because they are so tight. Not as much fun under brakes doing that tight stuff, but going up it's a lot of fun. This is definitely the best direction to do it in my opinion, going west to east. As usual with these great motorcycling roads of Australia videos, I'm going to do a bit of fast forwarding action and throw a bit of music over it. I think we're going to stop at the top. There's a cafe at Mount Glorious. We're going to stop there and maybe some of these guys are going to have a bite to eat, and then the rest of the guys are going to head off home. Some of the guys are going to split and not do Mount Nebo, but I'm doing Mount Nebo because that takes me south to where I need to go. Thank you.
Mount Glorious is a beautiful natural hilltop that offers cafes, spectacular rainforest walks and lookouts, as well as several picnic areas that are set in rolling parkland. Quite remarkably, this is only 45 minutes from the very centre of Brisbane, which is the capital city of the state of Queensland. The first selection of land on Mount Glorious was taken up in 1903, and it was named Mount Glorious by locals in around 1914 or 1915 after someone remarked, "Isn't it just glorious up here?"
Here we go, corners are getting tighter. Down from 40km/h corners to 30 now. Next few, 20. This is where the tight stuff happens. Real technical stuff. Last time I did it was in the wet. It was in the rain, it was greasy as anything. Much more fun in the dry. I've let all the other guys go past me, and I couldn't go holding up the guys on the sports bikes, so they were just too fast for me and this stuff. The old V-Strom just doesn't cut it when it comes to this sort of stuff up against sports bikes. I haven't got a hope. Plus I'm not that talented. Oh yeah, look at this. Sweep it left, right. Woohoo! Yeah, so much fun. So much fun.
This road is definitely not a high-speed road. You have to be aware that in addition to the presence of police up there, there is at times huge amounts of wet leaves and compost on the shoulders and verges. There can be gravel which is washed across the road after storms, as well as dead limbs which have dropped from trees.
Ah, there we go. It didn't take me long to catch up to the other guys.
So one other thing you have to be very aware of up on Mount Glorious and Mount Nebo is that as this road passes through rainforest, the temperatures are at least 6 degrees under what the temperature is down in the city below, and that it is often raining up here as well when there is no rain down in the city or the valleys below. What you can expect is early morning fog, quite cool temperatures, and showers of rain just when you are not expecting them. In fact, that is exactly what I got the last time that I rode up here in 2015. I got wet, The roads were wet and slippery and I had to take it really easy.
So that was an awesome bit of road. Just stopped in here at the cafe, Mount Glorious Cafe. Always a popular spot with bikes everywhere, all the time. We're about halfway across the mountain towards Brisbane. I'll have a little break here and then continue. So there we go guys, we just had a little break at the Mount Glorious Cafe. That was pretty cool, and now we're heading back on the way through to Mount Nebo and down into Brisbane. The speed limits are pretty slow through here. It's a bit ridiculous, but you know, there are a lot of motorcycle and car accidents and deaths through here, so I can sort of understand it to a certain extent, but it is a bit of a pain and there is a heavy police presence along here. So this side of the cafe from Mount Glorious through Mount Nebo is the most heavily policed part of the road. On this side there are more streets, there are more wide parts that the police can sit in with their radars and their cameras. On the other side there aren't too many places they can sit, it's really tight and twisty. There are a few lookouts along here, along this Mount Glorious Mount Nebo road, so you can stop off at the lookouts if you like and have a look over the surrounding mountains. Some have views over Ivanhoe Dam. I haven't stopped in at them to have a look, but I imagine they would be quite splendorous views. There's a memorial there to a rider who died. Sad to see. It was only recently apparently. I heard someone talking about it back at the cafe. Never a good thing, but it happens. Caught out, you lose concentration for that split second, and that's all it takes.
So we're passing through the Mount Nebo part of the road at the moment. Mount Nebo is a little bit closer to Brisbane and a little bit lower down at 550 metres above sea level, as opposed to Mount Glorious, which is 680 metres above sea level. So it's a little bit warmer at Mount Nebo and it's a little bit more built up. So Mount Nebo is a quiet village these days, but it began its life back in 1919 as a settlement to house war veterans from the First World War. The road from Mount Nebo through to Mount Glorious was constructed in 1922 and was initially no more than just a dirty old goat track that could only be used during dry weather. It was a bit slippery during the wet. This was eventually extended to the other side of the mountain where it joined up with the roads down below in the valley, where Somerset Dam and Ivanhoe Dam are now located. Coming up soon, just as we begin our approach to Brisbane, is the Enoggera Dam, which was built in 1866 to provide a water supply for the city of Brisbane. Enoggera Dam was the first major dam built in Queensland and the second major dam to be built in Australia.
So here we go guys, as I was saying earlier, all of a sudden you come from the mountains into the city. You just come out of the national park straight into the western suburbs of Brisbane. You've got Enoggera Reservoir over there to your right, a bit hard to see, but it is there, the dam wall, and then we're straight into the suburb of the Gap, one of the most western suburbs of Brisbane. All of a sudden there are buses and train stations and everything and suburbia traffic. You get snapped back to reality from that glorious mountain that we just came down out of. Thanks for watching guys, I hope you enjoyed that instalment of the Great Australian Motorcycling Road series. It was awesome having you with me once more. It is a great road, Mount Glorious and Mount Nebo. If you get the chance to ride Brisbane, that is probably the best road you're going to find close to the city. I'll see you in the next video guys. Cheers, bye bye.